Hello and welcome to Milo and Marcus Garage. Today we are working on our boat, the Olde Crusty. As in last episode, you might remember that we were working on the diesel pump, which apparently works now. So that is good, or we think it works, at least somewhat. It definitely pumps. So right now we are in the midst of removing the engine oil, and boy, let me tell you, that oil is crusty. The easiest way to show it to you is by walking very there we go, right here. You can just fix the focus. There you go. See this? This is the crank, the hand crank. And if you crank that sucker, just sort of ice cream viscosity oil will come out, and that is the motor oil. So it's an absolute nightmare for the engine, and thus we decided to take it out at once. Another interesting thing about this engine is, look closely right there, and I fix the focus for you. See that channel over there? That right there? That channel, that's the air intake for this engine. How strange is that, right? So basically the air goes in there through this long tube up here and then into the engine. It's very strange, but apparently this acts as sort of a oil bath air filter. It's quite strange, but yeah, that's how it is. Another thing that we checked was the injector. Let me just focus that for you. Zoop. Perfect. This is the injector. It injects diesel into the engine. We sort of thought that it might be gunked up and, you know, not work, and thus the engine doesn't want to run. But after quite a difficult time of taking it out, because it was very badly rusted, we discovered that it works just fine. But it's good to take it out and get some of that rust out, you know, because everything here is rusted. So right now we are just trying to figure out why the engine doesn't want to run. Because right now we've got a couple of things, right? We've got compression, we know we've got that. We've got the fuel, and then we thought, well, maybe the air is missing. But if you look here, the channel seems to be in a okay condition, and there is no filter that could be clogged up. So I think the engine is also getting air, and thus right now it's you know, just a it's a bit strange, because the engine doesn't have a spark plug, obviously, because it's a diesel engine, and all diesel engines, it doesn't even have glow plugs. It's just based on compression. So if it's got compression, if it's got air, if it's got fuel, it should start, right? So right now we are just trying to figure out what is wrong with it, because it's very difficult to tell. And another sad thing about this is most professional mechanics that actually know how to fix this type of an engine, well, they are dead, because this was a modern engine 70 years ago, right? And meaning that people around, well, let's say 25, 20, 30 years old at that time would be able to fix this sort of thing. And those people today would be 100 years old, right? Basically meaning that we are sort of stuck at our own knowledge and books. Books are a good help. We've managed to get our hands on an online service, or not service, but owner's manual for this, which did help in a couple of things. But then again, it's an owner's manual, not a service manual, so lots of things that we really tried to figure out, well, they weren't there at all. So we just had to, you know, reverse engineer it, find out how it works, and then try to check if it works. So right now we've noticed bad oil, and thus we are changing it, because bad oil is obviously bad for the engine. I don't think that it would not run on bad oil. It doesn't really matter as long as it's, you know, got oil. It should run. So I don't think it has anything to do with the running condition of this engine. But keeping in mind that this engine oil bath is based on the motor oil, it might be connected, just due to the fact that the oil might be so thick, so viscous, so old, that the proper amount of air just is not coming in. Might be that, might be not. Honestly, it's hard to tell. We sort of have to figure this out ourselves. So right now we are just working on this. You can see Marcus is dumping all oil out. That canister over there is not only filled with oil, it's also filled with some old diesel. So don't worry, this engine doesn't hold that much oil, but it holds quite a lot. So basically we are slowly and thoroughly going through all the working components that could possibly be broken. I was, thinking maybe the valves are not, working properly, but then the compression just wouldn't be there, and there is plenty of compression. So it's again very, very difficult to find out why this engine isn't running. If any of you guys have knowledge about these types of engines, it's a Sabb Type G, as I've said in the last episode, then go ahead and help us, because we are pretty much slightly hopeless here. Not fully, but slightly. See you later when we do something other than pumping oil out of an old engine.